Good afternoon. Wow. Um, it's an insane day, folks. It is an insane day. It's been an insane weekend. Speaking of the weekend, Saturday I think went well. Our first episode of Enraged and Uncaged. We'll be doing that on Saturdays. Last Saturday didn't quite go as I had planned because of the rally that was going on down in Texas, and I felt like that was important to cover, and so I did so. It was only intended to be an hour, maybe 2 hour show. Wound up being some 4 hours, 17 minutes, something like that. But it happens. Um, wow. So let me start out with, well, we'll start out with Blue. The head of security is going to have to be reprimanded. I'm going to have to print out some sheets and write her up. Um, apparently, apparently, the big winged humans that were somehow, I guess they flew up on the roof of a nearby house, hammering because apparently bird humans. They do something to the roof where they take some stuff off, and I guess eventually they're going to put it back on. And yeah, she can't have that. Um, Poor girl hadn't even gone potty yet because she's terrified of the bird humans. So anyway, we're gonna write her up, get that taken care of, and I've been calling her a chicken all day. But anyway, um, let's see. I'm trying to think of other stuff. There was something else I had on my mind that I was going to bring up at the beginning before I kind of got into the news stuff, because we might be there for a bit. Wow. That was a huge Bible chapter, by the way. It took me some time today to get that one put out. 48 verses. I was like, wow, okay. So my arm's still killing me. I actually had to do that in about 3 different sessions. I'd do it a little bit, and then I'd save the file, and always save. Jesus saves, right? So I'd save the file just in case the program errored out. I left it open, and I'd go read a little bit, and which, by the way, just Blue just loves when I take her futon, and I'd read a little bit and then go back at it. So it took me a considerable amount of time today. Uh, One thing I want to bring up is keep those clicks a coming. I know Evil, you're doing it. Please, folks, keep those clicks a coming. The reason why, now the only ad that's there now is the one at the very bottom. I have what they call auto ads, so it configures things on its own. This ad that you see, however, is not an auto ad. That's actually a placed ad in what they call a module on the website. So I had that turned off because the auto ads were working good, and I turned that off. Evil let me know one morning that the ads weren't showing. So I turned the module back on, and keep those clicks a coming, please. It helps. Believe it or not, I'm going to show you here real quick. It helps. So far this month, we have made $11.30. And again, I don't know if that all comes to us or if just part of it comes to us or what. I don't know how this works yet because I haven't done it before. This is the first time I've ever put advertising on a website. But I'm showing here that that's 29 clicks. So that means that's a pretty considerable amount per click, to be honest. Much better than what YouTube wants to dole out. So again, I don't know how this works entirely, but it is obviously working. And hey, if you can't send in a financial donation, clicking on the ad once or twice is free. So you don't have to sign up for nothing. You don't have to do nothing. You don't just click the ad. That's all you got to do. Yesterday it was up to $2.92 is what just yesterday alone brought us. So that's awesome. That is really awesome. That was the other thing I was going to bring up. What will happen, because AdSense, you have to hit $100 threshold in order to like cash out, I'll call it. And so at the end of the month, this is the balance. It goes up at the end of the month. And from YouTube, it'll go up, I think it's within the first like few days of the month or something. So everything from like YouTube's already there. I guess at the end of the month, whatever is in this box here will go over to this box. So once that threshold, once that hits 100, then we can actually get it, which we won't get it until like the 21st of the following month. So like if we reach that for this coming month, if we reach that $100 threshold, then like around the 21st, they'll actually send out the payment. I'm not quite sure. I think they say it takes up to 7 days to get, but they'll send out the payment. Now, what I'm going to do with this first one is it's already spoken for, and then some. First off, to make our lives much easier and to allow us just to get out and about under our own power, so to speak, is a trailer for Blue. So I've showed it a few different times. The trailer that I would like to get. This is the one I'd like to get. Hopefully they still have it on rollback when that time comes. And it's an awesome little trailer. It really is. That'll help us be able to get around. And Blue will ride in the trailer. And I can also go get groceries and stuff like that with the trailer and all that. So that is just one thing. The other thing, I know that's pretty close there. That's why I said and then some. I plan on getting a solar charge controller. Now, what I'm going to be able to do with that is the final piece that I need in order to do my solar video that I plan on doing. The whole idea there is to show you guys how you can build and I'm going to call it an emergency solar setup for relatively cheap. Okay, one that's feasible, not one that's a joke. Okay, there's a million different little solar things, USB things, and all that you can buy, and they're a joke. Okay, let me pull one up here. Let's see, solar USB battery bank. I'll pull one up here. And here's the thing. You'll find them left and right. They're all over. Like this one here is 20,000 mAh. I say mAh. 20,000 mAh. But the thing of it is depending on how much the power that panel puts out there, which isn't going to be much, by the way, man, I'll tell you what, it's going to take a long time to charge up that 20,000 mAh, okay? A long time. So it's not real feasible if you have something of anything major, you know. If you've only got one phone or something to keep charged, that's one thing, okay? Solar panel is 1 watt, folks. 1 watt. So I want you to think about this. It's 250 milliamp hour, okay? 250 milliamp hour. So this is the battery is 20,000 milliamp hour. So I want you to think about this. For every hour, you would be putting 250 milliamp hours into that. So let me do the math here. I want to show you. This is why this is important for me to show you guys, because a lot of this stuff is a joke, and it's important to know what is actually worth having and what's not. And you'll have a lot of people out there telling you that you need to go to the bank and take out 3 mortgages on your home, and you simply do not have to. Let's see. It's not free, don't get me wrong. It would take 80 hours of good sunlight, meaning at maximum power that solar panel can produce. It would take 80 hours to recharge the batteries in that device. Okay, to be able to charge your, and you got to realize they overrate these things all the time. iPhone 7, it said it would charge 5 times. Okay, iPhone 7 Plus, it'll charge 4 times. Okay, Galaxy S8, 3 times. Okay, so 3 times. Let's go with the Galaxy S8. So I would say that if you actively used your device, And in the case of an SHTF situation, most people probably wouldn't realize that they need to put it on either airplane mode or turn off the radio on the phone, because when that phone is sitting there searching for a signal, and I'm talking about if the towers are down, when a phone searches for a signal, it eats up an incredible amount of battery fast. Okay? So, a lot of people don't really realize that, and so they're probably going to go through batteries quick. So to say that a Galaxy S8 would go through, 3 battery charges in a complete day, is not real far-fetched. So you're already looking at it taking, what, over 3 days to charge that one time. One time. See, this is why I'm saying. This is why I think it's important that somebody show you guys. I know some of you already know, but it's going to be important for those that don't. So anyway, there's a solar charge. There's a couple solar charge controllers on eBay I've been keeping an eye on. One of them's roughly, the one I'd really like to get is like $30. It's not something that is outrageously high. So what I'm going to show you is, I guess in those batteries, I guess there's the system I'm going to show you. I guess there's $70 in batteries in it. The panel was like $85, and the solar charge controller will be like $30. So aside from that, the only other thing is the power inverter, which you will not necessarily need if you've got a USB car adapter. Will work just fine as well. I'm trying to remember what the power inverter costs. And I'm going to be showing you guys the power inverter too. I'm looking it up real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head how much it was for the particular unit that we had went with. It was $42.95, $43 for the power inverter that we went with, which has a max of 2,000 watts. I can literally power this computer entirely off of that power inverter, and I actually did it one day just to test the power inverter. So that is going to work for us because we need something mean enough to be able to recharge the bikes. Okay, that is definitely going to be a mean enough setup to recharge the bikes. Is that everything we need? No, absolutely not. But that will keep our mobile devices charged. That will keep our bikes charged. And this is just the beginning steps. We can always add to it later on. I'm going to call the solar panel 50 watts. I know when I bought it, the sale thing says 60 watts. But the identical panels from other names, so to speak, say 50. So I'm going to call it 50 watts because I think that's probably what it actually is. So, it's easy to add another to it. And boom, you got 100 watts. And these things are really cool. I'll go into depth in it when we get to the chance to get to that point. But they've got grommets on them. And I've already been running through my mind about how to set it up for a rack for it. Here, I'll pull this up real quick so you can see. Now this is, I'm just going to say 50 watts. I know it says 60 watts right here, but if you go and you look on eBay, all the panels that look like they come from the exact same company, exact same panels, are indeed, they say 50 watts. So in the corners, top right and left, bottom right and left, there's grommets. And I've been going over in my head on a simple rack that could be made out of aluminum and be really lightweight, really easy to set up, and something to where, if you stored these panels flat, or you could even set the rack up to where all the panels could actually go on top of one another and clip into that rack. When you get to the location you want to set it out, you unfold the rack, lock everything into place, and then separate all the, I'm saying 4 panels or 2 panels or however many, and clip them into place. Then you would have one nice little solar array. 2 panels, of course, would be 100 watts. 4 panels would be 200 watts. And you're talking about again, it's not going to be something that you run a house with, but it's definitely something that you're going to be able to charge up a decent battery bank with for necessary items. So anyway, I'm not going to stay on the solar part very long, but I did want to finish my thought with what I was thinking there and what my intentions are. Now, all we have to do is get a solar charge controller to be able to make that video for me to be able to show folks how they can do this. They actually dropped the price on that, I see, a little bit. So now they're $79.99, so not bad. And from the little testing I've been able to do with it so far, it seems it seems fine. It seems great. I took it out. I checked the amperage output on it. I checked, of course, the voltage output on it, and I forget exactly. It was over. I think it was around 2.5 amps is what I could pull from it. So that's not bad, folks. That's not bad at all. Anyway, and that was running straight again. No solar charge controller. That was literally using a multimeter and 12-volt batteries, and seeing what it was trying to push into the batteries. I drew the batteries down fairly about not quite halfway, and took it out and seeing what it would do, just full bore into the batteries. And because 18 volts isn't going to hurt those batteries, as long as I don't really let it charge forever and do it a bunch of times, it'll be fine. So anyway, I was pushing around 2.5 amps or so, 2.4, 2.5, something like that, which is actually pretty impressive to me. Anyway, so that's pretty much going to cover the solar stuff that I was going to go over. Now, let me go ahead and start with the news. Now, Roy Potter just got off of being live. I listened to it on my phone while I was rebooting everything back up, and he was talking about this deal with Mueller and all that. And after the monologue, I'll get to that. Again, it has to do with Mueller, not what's going on in Syria and abroad. So I want to be able to address that stuff kind of separately. It started out with over the weekend. I got to scroll all the way back down again. Pardon me while I do that. Grab me a sip of coffee here. It started with an alleged chemical attack on civilians in Syria, in Duma. Now, Russia and others have been warning that this attack, quote unquote, was coming. If I'm not mistaken, someone said they even had intelligence that talked about this attack was coming. Well, here's the interesting thing. The attack came. From my understanding, Russia was able to get in and either get samples or something or another. And at this point, Russia is saying that they don't believe that there is even any chemical weapons involved. So let me go ahead and start going through these articles, these headlines for the most part. I'm not going to read all the articles, okay? But let me go through the headlines. And I think you'll be able to paint the picture out pretty good. Actually, this goes back further, which I better cover. Yeah. One moment, let me get backed up. Okay. I think this is going to be the first one. Gas attack reported on Syrian rebel enclave. Damascus denies. Of course they denied it because they didn't do it. Folks, this isn't the first time. Don't make me whip out the CNN video from the 90s. State Department says dozens may have been killed in Syrian Duma by chemical weapons. Moscow warns against foreign attack in Syrian areas where Russian troops are located. Because, see, Russia sees this coming. Russia knows this is coming because we're like a broken record. We do the same thing over and over and over. Trump slams Putin, Iran for backing animal Assad amid chemical attack claims. See, building up that narrative to be able to go into and take out Syria, go into Iran, and building up a narrative for going to war with Russia. Now, right now, they need that. Right now, they need world war because they've got a collapsed dollar and a collapsed financial system to be able to cover up for, number one. But they also need to scare us into giving up more liberties in this country. So they want to achieve this by going to world war, because what better way? Folks, I don't care whether it's Trump. I don't care whether it's a town mayor. They are not on your side for the most part. There are some good people out there. Do I think Trump is completely evil? Honestly, I don't. Honestly, I don't. When I sat there and watched him as Mattis was up speaking the day that he passed the omnibus bill and signed it, it was very apparent in Trump's mannerisms that what was done was absolutely against his will. That man was about to come out of his face. He wanted to come unglued like no other. And I seen it. I seen it. So again, do I think he's a terrible, horrible man that doesn't want to truly make America great again? I really don't think so. I think he had some good thoughts, some good intentions. But as I've said the entire time, our government is not who is in charge. That's simple. That's simple. You can wave your flags all you want. You can shout the chants of whatever you want all you want. The facts are the facts, and what you see is what you see. Hillary's still not in jail. Hillary's not going to jail. It ain't going to happen. It is not going to happen. Why? Because she's above all this. Absolutely above all this. So we're running into some very, very serious problems here. Very serious. And you're going to see them play out. I would suspect that you're going to see a hell of a lot of stuff play out within the next 48 hours. And I'm not fear-mongering. There's a reason for that, and we'll be getting to it here momentarily. By the way, German police detain man suspected of planning knife attack in Berlin. London, by the way, banning knives. And if you think I'm kidding, we're getting there. China to make it rain over area 3 times the size of Spain, right? But, you know, geoengineering is just for conspiracy theorists. It doesn't exist. U.S. holds Russia ultimately responsible amid reports of dozens gassed in Syria's Duma. You hear that? So, both Assad is at fault and Russia is at fault. Iran is at fault. Just happens to be all the countries that the United States wants to topple. I'm surprised they didn't throw China in there too. Probably kind of hard to tie that one in though. Damascus calls chemical attack accusations unconvincing, broken record. Exactly. Exactly. How many times does the United States have to do this before other countries wake up? And that is happening right now. I listened live to the UNSC hearing today, their emergency meeting. I listened to that live. Other countries, you know, of course you've got France and you've got the UK and you've got those that are backing the United States. But I'll tell you what I heard that Russia said was eye-opening. The language in which they used, the things in which that language contained. It really spoke a lot. UNSC to meet on threats to peace and security in wake of Syria chem attack, reports, says Russian mission. Hungarian ruling Oh, that's not related to that. Sorry. Macron, Trump exchange data confirming chemical weapons use in Duma. You know, just like they confirmed that Russia's the one that poisoned Skripal. Right. Like that. Syrian airbase in Homs province hit by missile attack. Now get this. Get this. At first I'm thinking, yep, U.S. is at it again. U.S. is at it again. And then information was coming in that it was Israel that did it, which Israel shortly thereafter bombed the Gaza Strip. It's insane. Folks, this is insane. Anyway, now, per the UNSC meeting earlier, nobody has taken claim. So, on an official level, nobody has taken claim to a missile attack on a base. But who the hell's worried about finding out that? Let's go with this fabricated chemical attack story. I don't hear the United States or anybody else giving a damn on who attacked a military base. They're all just sitting there denying it. Now, if that isn't screwed up, I don't know what is. DEFCON warning system put out the United States said they have not launched an attack against Syria at this time. Syrian air defenses respond to missile attack on air base in Homs, says state media. Pentagon denies conducting airstrikes in Syria, but is closely watching the situation. Of course they are. Russian Ministry of Defense says 2 Israeli warplanes attacked Syrian airbase, which it was, I think, 2 warplanes that attacked Gaza Strip, too. Russian prosecutor general threatens to release May's secret correspondence, not related to this. Let's see. Lavrov, unlikely U.S. strike on Syria. Moscow has commitments towards Damascus. Duma medics received no patients with signs of chemical poisoning. Let me read that again. Duma medics received no patients with signs of chemical poisoning. Interesting. So, there's a double agent that was poisoned. It was claimed that Russia poisoned them. They've had to turn around and eat their words because, well, the evidence is showing that it wasn't Russia. But yet, the sanctions still exist, by the way, against Russia. They didn't take the sanctions away. All those new sanctions they put on Russia, and all of the news stories that our public propaganda machine known as our news media put out there, ain't nobody backing up that. Nobody's coming out and saying, look, it didn't happen like that. Nobody is. Nobody's removing sanctions, nothing. So, I have a feeling that there's a chance that it's going to come out that there wasn't even chemical weapons involved in Duma. But it isn't going to change anything. U.S. Defense Secretary doesn't rule out military action against Syria after reports of chemical weapons use. Israeli attack on base, indirect reaction to Syrian army's success, says Damascus. Nothing off the table in Syria. Trump promises decision on U.S. military action within 24 to 48 hours. Now, that's what I was talking about. We should have an idea of what's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours, because I don't think that Russia is going to put up with this anymore. I don't think. And where you've got Russia, you've got China. So, I'm telling you, things are likely going to get ugly and get ugly quick. No trace of chemical weapons at alleged attack site in Duma, says the Russian military. And I get it. I know it's the Russian military saying this. But I'll tell you what, I've seen the Russians be a hell of a lot more honest than the United States government. Let's see. Here's that I was telling you about, Mayor of London, and I verified this. I tweeted out his actual tweet. No excuses. There is never a reason to carry a knife. Anyone who does will be caught, and they will feel the full force of the law. Okay? Literally, the london.gov.uk website talking about this. So, they're not coming for your guns, and they're not coming for your knives, right? Next, they're going to be coming for your pocket rent. Let's see. UN Security Council meets after alleged chemical attack in Syria. Office of longtime Trump attorney raided by FBI. And I have a feeling that's what Potter was talking about. And this, I retweeted this because this put in words very well what I was trying to explain earlier about the language that was being used at that meeting, at UNSC meeting. This gentleman tweeted, "The verbal fight between Russia and the West at the UNSC is frightening. I honestly fear what may follow in the next hours or days." And he perfectly stated my sentiments. I mean, couldn't be any more accurate. Folks, I'm telling you, I knew, and that's why I said some weeks back, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, I started to say, put on your damn helmet. Because I don't want to not warn you. And if I'm not live at the time, when this goes down, I'm not going to have the opportunity to go live. And if I was live at the time, and this goes down, you're just going to see me disconnect like earlier when my computer crashed. You're just going to see me blip, gone. Telling you, put on your damn helmet. With that, I'm going to close the monologue and say we love you all. God bless you all. Be one with your spirit and put on the damn helmet.